Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So there we have a Wukong commentary guide, but this video is not really focused on Wukong. It's mostly focused on how to play Baron Lane for someone who can't play Baron Lane like me. Now this is in Master Elo, and Baron Lane is my fifth and final choice out of my 5 roles. My roles that I choose are like ADC first, then mid, then support, then jungle, then Baron Lane. Now the reason why I don't like playing Baron Lane is mainly because I'm really bad at it. Why am I really bad at it? Basically, it's because it's not about the mechanics, because ADC is a mechanical heavy role, but it's mostly because of the matchups. Like in Baron Lane, you have to know the matchups really well. You need to know who wins against who. And if you don't, and you get yourself into a bad fight, you get killed, the enemy laner has a huge advantage. A 1-kill advantage is huge in Baron Lane, and you're basically just gonna get destroyed, killed again and again and again, and this happens to me many times. So I'm mainly gonna be focusing on how we can prevent this and how you can play Baron Lane when you are autofilled. But first we're gonna briefly talk about Wukong and what I'm building on him. So first up, Wukong's build is pretty straightforward. We go for Divine Sunder. Divine Sunder is a really great 1v1 item, which also is going to prevent you from losing 1v1s. Then we go for Black Cleaver, which helps shred the armor of the enemy team to help your team do more damage. And then after that, we get Gargoyles. Actually, we get Gargoyles earlier after we get the Divine Sunder. Then we go for Death's Dance, and then GA, and then Steric's Gauge, or defensive items as needed. So, anyways, here we're going to talk about how we want to play the laning phase, but first we're going to talk about the runes. So first up I have Conquer, and the reason I don't have Grasp is because I don't actually want to fight Darius. I want to use that Conquer for team fights later on. And next up I actually have Weakness. Weakness of course increases the damage my team can do against enemies after I use my ulti, and as you guys can see there, I have Sweet Tooth as well. Now, so why do I have Sweet Tooth? Well, basically it's because I'm really scared of dying in lane, and Sweet Tooth basically gives me more healing as well as gold for me to survive in lane better. And then I even have Second Wind. I don't have Bone Plating, I don't have Hunter Titan. I have Second Wind so that whenever I trade with Darius, I can get back some health. Normally you want to take this into range matchups when you're a melee, but in my case, the Second Wind plus Sweet Tooth combo is going to help me not die very much. So how do we play the lane? We've already seen me play lane for about 2 minutes, and if you guys haven't noticed, you guys can see that basically I am content with giving up CS. Now CS that I can get, like maybe this one, I am going to be able to get, but you guys can see here that Darius is pushing in, and the lane is kind of pushed up towards me. It's a good freezing position, but I'm not actually freezing the lane. I'm not really manipulating the wave very much at all. So you see over there, we lose 1 CS there. We're not going to walk in to get that CS, because if we do, Darius is going to hook us, slow us, and hit his Q, and we're going to get chunked for about half our health. So we're not going to do that. Here we do a little bit of a smart trick with Wukong. We E in to secure the CS, and then we W out. So Darius thinks that that clone is us, and he wastes his hook on the clone. So now the good news about this is Darius doesn't have hook for the next, like, I don't know, like 10-12 seconds or so. But the bad news is that we don't have our W either. So it's basically a trade of important cooldowns for both of us. And here, obviously, one of the significant disadvantages of what I'm doing here is that I'm always going to be pushed in, and I don't actually have priority. So Darius is always going to be able to reset, has higher tempo, can rotate to scuttle, can rotate to fights way more easier than me. But the plus side of this is by doing this, you're likely to never actually die, and you're likely to never actually feed the enemy top laner. Now, this strategy is not foolproof because this strategy relies on your team carrying you. There's a specific reason why I picked Wukong here, and I didn't pick something like Aatrox, Gwen, or Akali, even though they are some of the best Baron laners as well. Wukong is the best supportive Baron laner at the moment because he has a huge ultimate to use in team fights that can help set up your team for a good fight, help, you know, stop enemies from having a good fight, from going onto your team, disengage, engage, whatever. You can do a lot of things with your ultimate. So that's the main reason why I picked Wukong here. So I'm mainly trying to help my team get a hit, but of course as a result, if your whole team feeds, you're going to lose the match. There's no two ways about it. You're going to lose the match. There's nothing you can really do. This strategy relies on you not feeding your top lane, your enemy top laner, and letting your team carry you. So this means giving them farm, giving them CS, not KSing them as far as possible, which we will demonstrate a little bit more about later in terms of giving them the resources and not taking their kills, that kind of thing. But it's a very supportive kind of playstyle. So here, Katarina is coming in on the roam, as you guys can see. She, for some reason, AFKs at the skull here, so I see her coming up. She's pinging to engage. Darius goes in on me. and I go in with the ultimate. Darius is up to 4 stacks. I use my second cast of the ultimate to knock him out again, in combination with my W to make sure he does not full stack on me, because if he full stacks on me there and ults me, I might die or survive with very little HP. So this allows me to get Katarina a kill and get her snowballing. Katarina already has 2 kills now. So mainly I want to get my Katarina and my Lucian ahead if possible. Now as you guys can see, Lucian and Thresh are kind of hard losing bot lane at the moment. They're both 0 and 2, so I start thinking that, you know, Lucian and Thresh are not really going to be winning me the game. Katarina is probably going to be the person who wins me the game, and Katarina's teamfight power plus Wukong's teamfight power is going to be really lethal, and we can try to take advantage of that if an opportunity does arise. So here again, even the cannon I'm willing to give up. I don't want to get into a bad trade with Darius. Now, Darius cannot kill me 100 to 0 here. See, even if I get hooked here, even if he hits W and Q there, at most he gets like a third to half of my health. He cannot 100 to 0 me. But the issue with taking bad trades in Baron lane is when you take one bad trade, it means you're going to be in kill range. So if I take one bad trade with Darius, and then he manages to catch me out again, I'm gonna die the second time I get caught out, because I've already been chunked out from the first bad trade. So the best way to not die is not get into a bad trade in the first place. Now this does not mean you play completely passive, not take CS, and just let him run over the lane. But what you do want to do is take any CS you can. Do get into small short trades with him, like here, where you can get a little bit of his health and whatnot. But do not full on commit for a fight unless you know you're gonna win it. But in my case, I honestly don't know between Wukong and Darius in a 1v1 who wins. I strongly suspect it's Darius, because he can fully stack his passive on you and you cannot really kill him faster than he can stack on you. So I strongly suspect that I don't win a 1v1. But as we all know, I suck at Baron lane because I don't know the matchup, so I have no idea whether I win or not. So what am I going to do about it? Well, I'm not going to find out in this match. I'm just going to stay safe and not let Darius kill me. Basically, so as a result, not get into bad trades. But of course, because I have the second win, and of course I have the Sweet Tooth as well, I do want to trade a little bit, because overall if I trade with him like a short trade, I am going to be at an advantage, because I do have more sustain than him, because he doesn't have second win and he doesn't have Sweet Tooth. So overall I do have more sustain than him, and I also have my Q, which does allow me to lifesteal off of minions, whereas his Q only really allows him to lifesteal off of champions. So here unfortunately I realize he's gonna get the tower. I actually go in with the ultimate, and here he actually manages to stack on me. I get stacked up to full. I flash away, he flashes to follow, and unfortunately he doesn't get the kill on me, and neither do I get the kill on him. He was tanking some minion aggro during that time, and he was actually pretty low. So here he actually takes my fruit, and I take the river fruit, and Katarina is coming in. So here I hop over the wall to check if he is there, and I've concluded that he must have run back towards his tower. Initially I actually kind of thought he might be in that bush, but even if he was, I don't necessarily want to go in there, because Katarina went the other way, and we will be back in another 1v1 that I don't know if I win yet again. So I didn't necessarily face check the bush. So here, something to note is we both blew all of our sums, which is good and bad, because he doesn't have his, but bad is that I don't have mine either. And we both also used ultimate, so we both don't have that either. And you guys can see that although I'm currently 0, 0, and 1, I haven't died. Darius is 0, 1, and 0, but because he was really lucky, he got the Rift Herald for his team and he got all the plates for my tower. He is actually still pretty high up on gold. He's about 2k gold ahead of me despite dying. And despite my best efforts to not let him get a hit. Now, to my credit, I did not actually let him kill me at all. He wasn't... okay, I can't say he wasn't close, because he nearly killed me right there. So he did come somewhat close, but you know, at the end of the day, I didn't actually die to him at all. It was simply that he got the Herald, and you know, because of that, he got a hit. So here, of course, he gets super overextended and we get another kill on him. So he's 0, 2, and 0, but honestly, KDA is one thing and gold is another thing. At this point in time, he is still... you know, doing a lot better than I am, despite me having a better KDA. I'm 0, 0, 2, he's 0, 2, 0, but obviously he's still doing better than me at the moment. So here, the key part about how you want to play this supportive style is when you see a fight happening and you have ultimate up, you always want to be at the fight. So here I'm not ulting because it's just a blitzcrank, and now it's just a phase where I've literally 5v1 against the phase, so there's no real reason to ult the phase here. So basically, you always want to be at fights. Now here I accidentally take the blue buff as I'm trying to exit the range. I get kicked by Lee Sin, I pop the gargoyles, for, of course, that extra shield. And here I ult, and here I'm going back into ult the Samira. Samira dies as well. Here I'm really, really low, but here I'm still going back in here to help with the Darius, and we do eventually kill the Darius. Now, why am I doing this even though I'm so low health? Basically, as I said, I'm trying to play as a supportive Wukong. I'm not trying to hard carry my team. I'm trying to hard carry them in team fights, but I don't really care too much if I die if my team gets all the kills. So here, Lucian actually got a triple kill, and that puts him back in the game. He's 6-2 and 3 now, and Katarina is now currently 2-1 and 3. So both my carries are doing well. I literally do not mind dying if they can get more kills. So over there, I was afraid that Darius might actually go onto Lucian after, because he did have his ult reset. So if he manages to get the stacks on Lucian and ults him, Lucian dies. So the reason I jumped in there is I did know that Lucian would have the damage to kill him if I'm the focus instead. That's why I dive back in to allow myself to take aggro from the Darius. And the worst case scenario is that I die to the Darius and Lucian gets the kill. But best case scenario is we both survive and Lucian gets the kill, which was what happened. So here, Dragon Fight, Wukong's playpen, we get the ult on like multiple people, and Lee Sin has to scamper off because the rest of his team died, and this gives us the dragon. Did fail the hop over the wall there, but Wukong hop over the wall is pretty hard to do. Honestly, you have to be in the very middle of the dragon pit, so I'm not sure why. I guess in panic I just tried to do it at the side of the pit, but that does not work. I tested it in practice tool already, and it only kind of really works in the center of the pit, so I kind of just inted the W there. But either way, we do have a successful fight where we had to flash into ult, but we did set it up for our team to knock down. So now, another thing here is that actually Kayn is really fed as well. You can see that Kayn has almost as much gold as our Lucian himself, and Katarina is actually falling behind in terms of the carry. So here, there's a huge wave up top. Ideally, one of my carries would take this wave, but unfortunately, they're all in mid lane. So here, I don't even fully clear the wave. I see them full on committing to a fight. So I'm going in with the ulti onto 3. I ignite the Darius to reduce his healing, and I managed to get the kill. I used the gargoyles to try to escape, but unfortunately, I die. But fortunately for me, we do have Katarina and we do have Kayn here to try to clean up. Kayn actually picks up 2 kills before he dies, but unfortunately our team do get aced, and Samira and Lee Sin do survive for the enemy team. So now taking a look at the current situation of the game, Darius, basically the whole enemy team, aside from Blitzcrank, is at 10k gold. They're doing really well. They're 5k gold ahead of my team, and on my team, basically at the current stage, we do have Kayn and we do have Lucian at 10k gold. Katarina is actually behind me in gold, which is really not optimal, but you know what they say, with a Katarina, it just takes one fight for her to go to reset city and just take over the whole fight and the whole game. So I'm not too worried about Katarina being behind, and as I mentioned, that Katarina picks up a double kill, gets herself to 9k gold, and gets back into the game. So here I sense an opportunity. I go in with my ult to disrupt 3, Fizz goes in, overextends, and he dies. Blitzcrank as a result pays with his life as well, and only Darius is alive. So what this means is pretty obvious. It's Baron time. So we do have the Thresh dead, but here I'm hopping over the wall and popping the plant to make sure no funny business occurs with like Darius trying to steal or something like that. But I'm pretty sure Darius is not gonna hop into this pit to try to steal anyways, because if he does that, he would be pretty much inting his life away. And here Lucian even calls the Baron to actually try to do it faster, and as a result we do pick up the Baron and we all recall. Now look at that huge wave in bot. Initially I wanted to go to bot to pick up that wave, but I was thinking that, maybe Lucian or Kayn can go there to pick up the wave, but for some reason Lucian follows me mid, and Katarina is at top. Kayn goes to his jungle, and Thresh ends up picking up the wave, which makes no sense at all, because in terms of priority on who should get farm, it should be Lucian, Katarina, Kayn, me, then Thresh. So Thresh literally the worst person to actually take up farm. Here I actually get caught, but you see the Starex basically saves my life, and here I go back in with the ulti to set up the triple knockup for my team. I try to flash out, doesn't actually work, and basically Kayn ends up committing for the fight, which I kind of baited him into, and he actually doesn't die. He actually survives with very low HP, but my team comes in and turns the fight with the rest of the team showing up to the party, and this leaves Darius and Lee Sin at 1 HP, and the rest of their team dead aside from Fizz. So this allows us with the Baron buff to actually push down mid. So Obviously, Lee Sin and Darius are currently in the base trying to restore their health, so this gives us a very brief window to try to do damage to the tower. Unfortunately, we don't quite do that much in that window, and Kayn is still trying to cause some trouble, I guess you could say, but he does end up dying to Lee Sin, does get Lee Sin's Guardian Angel though, so that is a pretty huge pickup. Lee Sin is going to be vulnerable for the next bit. And here, good move by Lucian to of course steal the enemy blue buff. And here I'm back up and available, so here I'm going to rotate to my Lucian and Thresh. I don't really think Katarina is going to be doing very much in terms of fighting someone right at that stage. So Katarina is more of a team fight champion who comes in to clean up. Unless she's obscenely fed. Here we force the Darius flash, we're happy with that. And I was thinking Katarina was more going for the tower, which she was. So here I'm going to join Lucian and Thresh, where we have a lot more kill potential and a lot more potential to really do anything, like take this tower for example. Katarina just kind of distracting them at the top. In the meantime, I put a ward in the enemy jungle to of course spot if anyone is coming, and also just to get vision of their jungle in general. And yeah, so we do pick up the tower, but Baron buff does run out, so we can't really push very much further. The dragon is coming up, so here I'm just camping in the pixel brush, but my team isn't really around, and the whole enemy team is walking in. This was actually a really nice catch by Thresh, and I could have gotten in with the ulti if I stayed close enough, but unfortunately I don't. Here I get hit by so much CC that I don't even know what I'm getting hit by at this point. But here I managed to ulti and get a kill on Darius, then I hop over and get another kill onto the Blitzcrank. I then get one shot by Fizz, who obviously has Oblivion Orb, so I'm at low HP and I'm gone. So here Lee Sin does go down as well, and we basically get a clean ace of the enemy team again. So here, honestly, looking at the death timers, I think it was possible to actually end through bot lane, which is exactly what Lucian is trying to do. And when we see the progress of what Lucian is actually doing, you'll see that here he actually picks up the tower. And like you guys see here, he picks up the tower, he goes onto the minions, and after he is done with the minions, there is still a decent amount of time before enemies respawn. So I think that if everyone committed to this, and you guys can see here, I think if everyone committed to this, we literally would have won the game right here. But unfortunately, Kayn and Thresh went for the dragon instead, and Lucian didn't even attempt to try to ping for the end, so unfortunately the base is left at about 2000 HP, but I'm pretty sure if Kayn and Thresh was there, the game would have been over. So a little bit unfortunate there. We could have sealed the deal right then and there. So here you guys can see I'm not taking the blue buff on purpose because I don't want to rob my team of it. Here, looks like another fight is breaking out. I go in with the ultimate, get the 4-man knockup, and second cast the ultimate, disrupting their backline. Unfortunately, Samira does get her ulti, but doesn't matter at this point because we pretty much slaughter everybody. Listen with a desperate stasis to try to salvage the situation, but to no avail. Now only Fizz is left alive, who wasn't in the fight to begin with, and here I'm waffling around trying to decide which way to walk around. I realize that the minions are going to die and come back around the other way, but basically the game is over at this point. Fizz by himself cannot defend, he can't clear the minions without committing his body to it, and he can't actually go in without dying. He does decide to go in, and as I say, he does die. He cannot 1v5, obviously. We don't even wait for the minions. People start tanking the tower, trading the aggro around, and we literally pick up the victory without the minions. So hopefully this video did show you guys how to play Baron lane for people who can't. I assume a lot of people are ADC mains like me who watch the channel. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys for watching the video, and goodbye.